Thank you so much. Thank you, Yvonne. It's a pleasure being here, being in your midst, and I'm seeing beautiful faces. I'm seeing handsome men. Thank you for having me here. My name is Tosin Obiakheme. I'm a broadcast journalist. I'm a drone pilot. I'm a cinematographer. I'm a caterer. I'm a lot of things. You know, I don't want to go on and on, but I didn't just wake up to be all this. I was determined to be what I am today. And Yvonne brought me here to talk about if if I wake up and I'm 18 again, I should share my experiences and the things I wouldn't do, if I'm, 18 again. So I will start by saying that I wouldn't take as much as, let me say that, I wouldn't take a lot of carbonated drinks that I took while growing up. It might sound little, it might sound like meaningless. It is meaningful because we are what we take. I remember back then when if I eat 6 times a day, I'll take 6 bottles of, I don't want to do free advert for some companies, you understand? I have a particular brand that I do take then. So if I eat 6 times a day, I go 6 times on those carbonated drinks. So that's what I meant by I wouldn't do that, because as we age, we don't need all of those. We need to, our body is a temple of God, and not just the temple. You also have to watch what you take in, what you absorb, because later on in life, you kind of, pay back, kind of, some persons are lucky, they don't have to pay for it. We have diabetes and all that, so that's why I'm trying to break it down so that you will not think, what has that got to do with life experiences? So that's just one of them, to start on a very, very light note. Then I will also say that I would channel my energy to more positive things. Growing up, you find yourself, when you look back now, you find yourself, you say, okay, a particular thing that happened at a particular time, I shouldn't have handled it this way. I shouldn't have even paid attention to it at all, So that's also one of them. And also, I wouldn't keep the kind of friends I kept back then. Yeah, some people, we have people who have been friends for, years, from time immemorial. It's not everybody, it's not applicable for every one of us. Some of us, and I've also started imbibing that in my children. Like sometimes when they feel that they are not accepted by friends, or they want to make friends with a particular person and that person is not looking their way, I tell them, you know what, let it go. Some of these guys you're seeing today in your primary school, in your high school, you may never get to see them again. I remember when I was in secondary school, the kind of friends I was keeping, my mother was, against them. And I was adamant, I was adamant about it. But later, some events took place, and I later understood why she was against them. Like the Yorubas would say that what an adult see when sitting down, if a child climbs an iroko tree, you can never see that. So I will also say one of the things I wouldn't do if I wake up to be 18 again is to keep the kind of friends I kept. Most of the quality friends that I have today are not friends that I made in my childhood years. They are friends that I made in my adult years, when I know my right from my left, when I know what is right for me, and when I know that, our principles, a lot of things, we have a lot of things in common. But back then, we were driven by juvenile delinquencies, we're driven by a lot of things, and the brain was still developing at that time. So you're just doing things on impulse. You're not, taking time to actually, see whether they are good for you or they are not. And also, I would learn to play musical instruments. I love music. I'm also a singer. I didn't mention that part. I am a gospel artist. So I would play, or I would learn to play musical instrument, because back then I had the opportunity to learn a lot of them. Sax, keyboard, drum sets, but I was too busy pursuing other things that were meaningless. But to me at that time, they were meaningful. But looking back now, they were meaningless. So that's also one of them, one of the things I would do if I wake up to be 18 again. And I would go to the university immediately after secondary school and do my master's immediately. I'm saying this because, it's not everybody who is privileged. When I finished secondary school 15 plus. I was almost 16. But my parents were not buoyant enough to, send me to school immediately. So if they were buoyant, I would have. And that's why whenever I am opportuned to meet with younger ones, I encourage them, as long as there is the wherewithal to, further. Immediately after your secondary school, pursue your degree. Immediately after your degree, pursue your master's. Immediately after your master's, if you want to go ahead, if you want to, because it's not all of us that want to go, to that length. So, so that's why I put down this point that I wanted to, but I couldn't immediately. And some of us know what we went through to be able to, get education. So that's will be my advice. That's make hay while the sun shines. Because I have noticed over time that the moment you start working, it's not always easy. When you start seeing Pepe, it's not always easy to, want to go back. Your attention is divided. And for some of us who are in the media, we have what we call beats, like the security beats, the education beat and all that. So you might have been assigned to a beat, to cover a beat, and you're already doing well, and you already love, the job, how you're faring on the job, how the job is treating you, the experiences you're garnering on the job, and you keep procrastinating. You keep saying, don't worry, I'll go next year, I'll go. So that's why I penned this down. So again, I would study harder than I did. I would not party as much as I did back then. And also, I would believe in myself more, because I lost a lot of opportunities due to inexperience, due to the fact that I was inexperienced, rather, and due to my timidity too. So I would say that I will believe more in myself. I'm also a sport person. I'm an athlete to the core. If you see me playing basketball now, you wouldn't believe who is playing basketball. If you see me playing football, you wouldn't believe who is playing football. If you see me playing table tennis, if you see me on the track and field, I was very good in 4x4. You understand? So basketball, I dropped the idea of playing basketball because, and I was also, okay, let me finish this. So I dropped the idea of, continuing with playing basketball because I thought I was short. And what I missed out then was that I could have been one of the shortest basketballer of all time, because some of these things require skills. It's not all about, you can be tall and sluggish. You can be short and, smart, and you're able to lift yourself and all that and net a ball. And also, also a model. I contested for Miss Oyo State in 2004, Face of Africa in 2003. I think it was the Face of Africa that qualified me for Miss Oyo State. Also that too, I dropped that ambition because I thought I was short. I was too short, When you go for pageantry and you see girls, long girls, permit me to use such word. You see tall girls and you feel intimidated, and all that. So I buried a lot of talents because of what I thought I was. So I would, if I wake up again and I'm 18, if I wake up and I'm 18 again, I would pursue some of those, dreams. And, when I came to Abuja, I wanted to, delve into sporting activities and all that, but along the line, because of some of these factors, I realized that now I had to, drop them. And I wouldn't engage in some of the social vices I engaged in due to pressure, like drinking, smoking, a little, So I wouldn't, I'm saying this for the first time, Sha. Yeah, some things are inevitable. You have to talk about them. So if I wake up and I'm 18 again, another thing I would love to do differently is I will place me first. Yeah. It's okay to be selfish sometimes. There are 3 types of selfishness. One is good selfishness. The other one is neutral selfishness. And the third one is the bad selfishness. I've always been a selfless person. I am still, but sometimes I weigh a lot of things. Let me quickly give us an example. Help your timing me, and you tell me when the time, okay. So I was in a bank I was at the bank sometimes last week, and I had 3 forms, I don't like filling forms, yeah. I had 3 transfer forms, it can be lengthy. If you want to fill the down part, you have to still, and I was holding a pen. As a journalist, I always throw pen around every nooks and cranny of the car, my bag, and everywhere, so, because I don't want to enter a bank and be asking for a pen. So I was with a pen, and a guy walked up to me and asked if he could use my pen. A me of some years back would inconvenience myself and give him the pen until he finishes. I said, no, I'm busy, I'm used, because I was trying to do some, calculations to know how much I'm sending and all that. So he thought I was not using, but me of before would have spared. Another lady, 3 persons before I left the bank came to ask for my pen. I would have given them if it was a me of then. So I hope you understood what I meant by sometimes it's okay to be selfish. So going back to the point I was trying to make, I would be a little bit selfish, because back then I could carry other people's need above my need, and at the end of the day, it's not worth it. At the end of the day, some of them are not even appreciative of it. I've given someone a lift, and the person entered the car, did not even say good morning. Came down alighted from the car, did not even say thank you. I'm just still, I like, I'm trying to make it, very conversational so that, you understand? So some of them are not even appreciative. So at the end of the day, you will shift your ground for them. What other word can I use? You shift your ground for them, and at the end of the day, they are not appreciative. Of course, when you do things, you're not doing it so that the person can tell you thank you, but sometimes all these little things, they matter. Either we like it or not. I know someone who is very close to me who doesn't like people telling him thank you, but I can never stop telling you thank you. When someone,
Just to point, my mentor gave somebody money by present, and the person will thank God. And the person is not thanking.
Yeah, it was good.
He said to me, that's the end.
Yeah.
So
little things like that.
You thank the first to God first.
Yes.
So it's key.
Yes, so it's okay to be selfish sometimes. So I will give myself more priority attention than, And then again, there's times that you go out of your way for people, and at the end of the day, it's like you just poured water, just like what Mivon just said, in a basket. And at the end of the day, you want to flog yourself, why did I do that? And besides, the last point is, thank God it's coming, is you might even lose something valuable. Okay, I'm a very practical person. Let's say, for instance, now we are all new intakes at the university, and we have to register, and there's one more slot for one person, or maybe scholarship or something. Please, yourself should come first. But those were things that I did not know. I was always, going out of my way for people. I'm still doing it, but with a lot of senses now. Not anyhow, again, let me put it that way. So I make bold to say that with what life and some persons have taught me, and with my past experiences, it's not bad to be selfish at times. So I would also like to add that this generation is blessed. I was telling Mivon inside his office that this generation, the younger generation, they are blessed to have you, to have me. Because growing up, I'm speaking for myself now, I don't know about any other person. I never had any auntie, even if it's area auntie, to look up to. I never had any cousin, any brother to look up to. So we're just doing things blindly. And I'm a very spiritual person. With the help of Holy Spirit, we're able to, surmount some of those challenges. We're able to decipher what was wrong from what was right, So, and I also want to use this opportunity to implore each and every one of us here that I see this life as, I liken it to a track field. You and I are both athletes on the field with batons in our hands to be passed to the next person. So I want to implore us that at every point in time, that was why when I was called upon by Mivon to, be here, it was really an honor for me, So let's always do what we can do, the best we can do to help them. It's not everybody. All these things I was saying, with a pint of salt, some other persons could not survive it. I was telling me how I almost got into, smuggling of cars. I never knew it was a bad thing then. All I knew was that, okay, I needed cash for school, and I was not going to prostitute, I was not going to steal, but I could do any other thing legitimately. So to me, smuggling was legitimate to me then. And I had already said yes. I was to be paid 20,000 naira per car. As at that time, that was 2000. I was to be paid 20,000 naira per each car. I helped them. Thank God I did not do that. Smuggle into the country from Cotonou.
So you were to drive from that?
I was to drive from the border.
Wow.
Yeah. Then I slept one day. I had already told them we had picked a date. That, okay, yeah, it was one of my classmates, We had picked a date. Like, okay, so day we'll go, and this is how we'll go. This is how we'll, the cars will be handed over to us and all that. And then I slept, and I woke up, and I was like, with the help of Holy Spirit, like, okay, so we do see in the news that custom officers do engage them, they shoot at them, they do this, they do that. What if you are involved in an accident, or what if you're being shot at? What will be your gain? What will be your loss? How would your mother feel? And, your dreams, those dreams that you have, those big dreams, how are you going to achieve them? Then I bowed out of it. So,
And you're sure it's not fear?
no. I'm rugged. I'm very rugged. I'm very rugged. When I'm set to do something,
Yes.
I'm a Taurian.
Okay, well, so I don't know whether we can be asking questions now.
Yes,
okay.
it's fine.
Now, I want to ask you a question because concerning when you said something about placing yourself first. Because you said that has to do with
Yes.
I would like you to choose some light on it, but before then, now I understand that relationships are first sacrificial, then beneficial. So there's always a stage for when you have to make sacrifices before that starts benefiting you. Yes, everybody I've studied, because what I've been doing recently is to study biography of people. Every one of them, the guys in the sport world, the guys who are very, very well in the music and the rest, there were times they had to use their gift for free.
Yes.
They gave their gift freely before the big money started rolling in over time. So I want to ask, those times you were selfless, particularly to people, because whether you like it or not, there are people, when you say I just laugh, because one day I tried to help somebody into my car, and it came in and said, why is the car this dirty? Because it was dirty inside.
Someone told me that too.
But the mistake he made, for worry. So I asked him to get out.
Yes.
So he got out. So I know there are people like that. Yes, and no matter what you try to do, they are in the position of weakness, but they are trying to show strength. Yes, so I don't know if those
into someone's life, do not expect that person. Even God did not design it that way. If you're getting married, for instance, and I decide to sow a seed and gift you a car, if God wants to pay me back, it could be one of my uncles in the village that God will use. So that is why people must know that. And that is why there was a relationship that I let go, The person did something for me and expected I do same. And I asked myself, okay, so if you give me 50,000 naira and I go out of my way to double it. So the person even indirectly told me that when she gives someone something, she expects that the person will double it the next time the person is gifting her something. So I sat down and I was like, oh, so one day we're going to hit billion and we'll not have to go and, go out of our way or maybe even kill to get it so that because I want to pay you back. So that's one thing people do not understand. People need to know that when you sow a seed, another person, you might not reap it immediately. You might not reap it there from that particular person. You might reap it elsewhere. I hope that answers my...
Anybody else question?
Yeah, my name is Joey. I'm a grant strategist.
Okay.
Okay, it's from your statement, it's obvious that you're a head that wears so many crowns. You'd like to explore so many things. You're very, very enthusiastic about life generally. But at what point did you realize that it was media for you?
Well, I studied mass communication. I have diploma in mass communication. I wanted to do law. You know, at one point in our time, in our lifetime, we'll, come up with, I want to be a doctor. Every child, if you go around, every child at one point would have loved to be a doctor. But as time goes, lawyer. Mine was also lawyer too. Engineering. The doctor, yes. Mine was lawyer, and so sometime along the line, okay, yes, I think the reason why I couldn't go for law was because of financial constraint, because I knew law school, the books and all that you have to invest in. I was not ready for that. So I was not, my parents were not buoyant for that. So then I shifted my attention to, and then again, there's something they always say about, the Bible says about, power in our tongue. When I was in school, I went to Ife Poly first before I studied English in the University of Abuja. So when I was in school, because of the way I walk, I love to take my step, one time at a time. I like that, People used to call me Naomi Campbell. So I think that word, brought forth the model in me. And then again, a year after, they started calling me Tosin Obiakheme, Tosin Obiakheme. I never even knew that I was going to end up with AIT. You understand? So I wanted to study law. I've told you the reason why I couldn't, because of financial constraints. Then I opted for mass communication. So I've always loved the TV. I've always loved to stand in the front of a mirror. Even my children, up till now, if I see a mirror and I'm standing, the next day they say, "Hello, I am Tosin Obiakheme." So I've always loved the mirror. So I think I got to know very early enough that I was going to toe that line.
Hello, my name is Jai.
Jaru, Jarul. Okay. I wanted to start rapping Jaru's something.
I'm the creative goddess.
Okay, you are a goddess.
Yes, I am. So, first of all, I'd like to tell you that you're a very beautiful woman. I love your skin.
Oh.
I love your teeth. I
Oh.
like the way you speak.
Thank you.
Lovely. Thank you for giving us all of these pointers. They're quite practical, I must say. Now, my question is this. I actually love the fact that you're a spiritual person, because I've heard you say several times, by the power of the Holy Spirit.
Mm.
What would you, if, let's say, take for instance, maybe you had to be in a position where you had to, trying to find the proper English. What would you do if you were, say, in a position where you had to decide whether to marry or to go to school? Because I heard you say things about constraints, financial stuff.
Mm.
So what would you do in a situation where maybe you had to decide whether to get married to someone or to go to school to do your cinematography?
I'll say school. Education is the bedrock of the society. If one is married and you're not equipped with the right knowledge, there's no way. Yeah, people will say, okay, how come in the era of our parents, our mothers, even when they do blind dating, they just bundle them and take them to their husband's house. How do they? It's different. It's a different ball game. It is. So I will opt for education, because with education, you can meet your husband anywhere. You can meet your husband in school. You can meet your husband while serving. So why should I go for marriage first without education?
If I also counsel as a daddy who has daughters, I will tell my daughters to have what they call lasting investment before they go into marriage. So in other words, let's say they have shares in Apple or have saved.
No, not really. But I just felt, that's why when I see younger ones now eating, like there was a day I saw someone eating egg roll and a bottle of, I don't want to mention, one of those carbonated drinks. And I was like, so for your mind now, you say you are enjoying the chopping life. No, not really. But as we age, we need to cut down on all those things, carbs, carbonated drinks and all that. And, so I just thought, is something that is inevitable. You have to, no, I just thought it's something that we need to cut down on. Okay, imagine taking 6 bottles of either Sprite or Coke every day for 1 year. So that was what the trend that was, that time. So that's why I started with that. And it's something that, looking back, now I drink a lot of water. Water is life. So if I had known what I know today, I won't be injecting my system with all those things. I would drink more of water. I would eat more of vegetables, and probably my sister says she loves my skin. Probably I would have been fresher than this. On a lighter note.
Okay, the condition of the pattern.
Yeah. Yes.
Because now, I was just discussing with somebody at church in my house. They said, this is my friend. Once you don't have money, the whole world knows he doesn't have money. Start coming to this office, greeting everybody.
And when he has money, he disappears.
He drinks I was telling you, he knows the person I'm talking about. So you go to his house, he has bought Azu 2 million naira, 500,000 for.
PA. And so that's why, if I was studying more, imagine you being awake. And sometimes we used to do like back to back, you understand? Imagine you doing back to back Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Yeah. Now it's very easy to discuss them now and you laugh over them. But I think some years back, I wouldn't be this, instead of you to engage in more profitable venture, like, reading your book and all that. So that's why I said that it affected my grades.
I just like to add, because I had a brother that we started school together, but because of party, every party, in fact, I became popular. I don't go out with anybody, but I became popular because of him. Everybody knew me because of him. Every party is the party guy. So
Yeah.
I think that's actually.
I am also an advocate of, now, I'm not trying to speak from both sides of my mouth. I'm also an advocate of, and guess what? No regrets or whatsoever. I didn't regret, socializing and all that, because if I hadn't done them back then, maybe it's now I'll be looking for the next available party and be hopping and go. I did them at the right time, and thank God for the gift of Holy Spirit. I knew when to stop. On my own, I covered, you are 24. It is okay. Drop it. Do you understand? So, like you said, too much of everything is bad. Too much of bread is bad. Too much of carbonated drink. It's only too much of water that is not bad. Water is like, do you understand? Be able to balance things. And also, there was a guy back then when I was in school that this guy loved to party too. But this guy was always top in class. How he does it, we do not know. So I also always tell people, even my children, I tell them, never ever, try to be like other people, or never ever, what's the best way to phrase this word now? Like, you know, mm, try to be like someone. Okay, let me leave it like that. The word is eluding me, you know, like, because Mevo is a party type, I want to party too. You don't know whether when you come back from that party, when you are snoring, you're sleeping away, he's reading.
Like just too funny.
Yeah. So there are guys like that. So just do you. Do you. Don't, because one person is doing something, you want to also dabble into it. It might have repercussion, and, you know, it might not be palatable, it might not be friendly.
Now, please, I want to ask a very serious question now. I know.
So the other ones have not been serious.
Very serious. Now, you got married around 25 or so.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and you had all of this enjoyment before you still got married.
Yes.
Okay. Now, I wanted to know how that actually made impact on your ambition in life generally. That's one, because from what
You
you
mean
said,
the partying?
no, the getting married.
The getting
part.
married, okay.
Yes, certainly not. Because from what you said, I can see that you didn't really have like a mentor when you're growing up. And you didn't have like a mentor. So you had to make decisions based on communism, what they think. So now you got married. I wanted to know how this actually affect your dream. Because I know some ladies who are doing well, the moment they just say I love you, and they now get married. And you know, particularly this generation of men, they are so intimidated that many of them don't even want their wife to come out at all. So I don't know how, because when we knew you as Mrs. Tosin Obiakheme reporting, so it means you've been long married. So I don't know how you were able to express and still come to the limelight even when you're settling down.
Well, I married my friend. I married someone who is never afraid to let me fly, who is never afraid to let me shine. In fact, I told him about this program just yesterday evening. I forgot. You know, I told you I took ill. I have cold, even from my voice. You could tell. So I couldn't, and he's been busy too. I told him, and he was like, you're just telling me. I said, I'm so sorry. But some men will not let you. Some men will tell you that the notice is short, you know. So, you know, marrying the kind of person I am married to make things so easy for me, you know. Like the catering thing that I said I learned, when I had I'm a mother of 5. When I had my, when I had my 3rd child, that was when that was when I told my husband that maternity leave. That time, maternity leave used to be 3 months, then it was increased to 4 months. So someone like me, I don't like, you know, someone that likes to party, we don't like sitting in one place. We are always, you know, everywhere. We are always, so, but we don't make trouble. So I just woke up one day and I told him that this 4 months is too much. Me, I'm going to resume work. I'm going to tell him, if he sees me at work, it was going to break my leg, of course, on a joking level. So I was like, okay, I want to do something. What will I sit down at home and be doing? That's why even if I have someone helping me at home, I'm not an advocate of them sitting at home. I'm going out to go and hustle. Then you sit at home, burning my lights, watching my DSTV. Go and do something for yourself. Go and learn something. I don't mind paying. Do you understand? Go and learn a skill. Don't sit at home. Don't sleep. So that tomorrow you will not wake up and, you know, say, I did not help your life. So I told him I was going to learn, you know, catering and all that. And he allowed me. He gave me his nod, and, you know, he even paid for it. And then when I had my 4th child, I said, okay, I want to learn camera, and, you know, I also, so, you know, over time, from the blues, I'll just say, I want to do this, and I'm getting his blessing. So I would say, that's why I said, it's not by my power, it's, you know.
It must be from Delta,
He's an Edo man.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing. Okay, that's all. Now, the point I wanted to present, I saw, so it means for what?
Speak to the younger ones that when they want to, choose a life partner, you have to really, do a lot of work in the sense that, do your principles, do they align? Does the person share you in your dreams? Is the person going to share in your dreams? Is the person a dream killer? Because, what you said, it happens to a lot of people. It happens around us. Where you sift through, even in your area where you reside, you will see someone blossoming, doing well. Then the moment they get married, the dreams start, dwindling. And it also boils down to some men, I'm sorry to say, some men have maybe, I would say, complex issue. They have a security issue. They feel it should be them at the limelight all the time. And that is why I also advise women too, when you have a partner who is always cheering you on, do not take them for granted. Do not take them for granted. Appreciate them and, carry them along. Because I've seen a situation whereby a man, cheered his wife, until she climbed the ladder, and then she became a politician and stopped coming home, stopped picking the husband's call, and that. So when some men who naturally are dream killers hear stories like that, they cling on to that, and they'll be like, no, I can't support any woman. I can't support my woman so that she will not be like that. There are women that are not like that, but the statistics of those that will do that is very, very slim. I'm not saying it because I'm a woman, it's very, very slim. So women should marry who will share their dreams, who will cheer them on, who will be their, cheering partner, their partner in progress, and all that, and it will be easy. Because I always say that, for instance, now this my sister, sitting, they just sent me, she's wearing jewelries. If I, as a very, very spiritual person, assuming I'm a man, I don't want my woman to wear jewelry, I shouldn't go for her. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? I shouldn't go for her. I should go for someone whose ears are bare.
Where she was coming from?
Yes. You're telling me a story. Okay, a story for another day. You understand? So you see someone who likes to wear trousers, and you want to change that person. Why don't you go for the ones that like to wear Mary and Martha skirts and gown and all that? So that's where people always miss it. You want to...
You are prophesying. Mrs. Tosin. You know what? I know somebody who wants his...
From my own point of view, it is not compulsory that you do them. And if you do them, nobody is going to judge you for doing them. Just do you, what is right for you. But I would still like to refer you back to what you say, some persons do say, and I quickly chipped in to say that it's like carryover. Like, everything is in stages. Like from secondary school to the university is that hey period and all that, and you don't do it. Maybe it's when the person is married that the person will now remember that, there were some things I was supposed to have done back then, and they will now be doing it at the wrong time. I also know someone who never flexed, let me use the word, who never flexed, and then whenever we were in the office discussing, I spent the weekend with my boyfriend, when people are discussing, and she would just enter a shell, and she'd be like, these were things she never enjoyed, because she got married early. The person got married very, very early. She was still a teenager when she got married, and she'd be like, how she wished she could go back and do those things. And we saw some moves. I'm not judging the person. We saw some moves, and for someone like us, what do you want to use to entice me? Do you understand? So we saw some moves, and yeah, I sat down. I was like, oh God, I'm not judging this person, but really, that thing they said about some certain things, if you don't do them in life, you may later go back to them. It now requires a strong will for you to say, okay, yes, I agree. I didn't do them when I'm supposed to do them, and it has passed. Let me just let it slide. That person must be strong-willed. So that's what I would say about that. No question. My brother, any question? No question. Okay.
No question? Okay, I have one final one.
Okay. Okay, when I got married, my friends then were the ones who, call it a day. They called it a day by themselves. I called it, yo, Alpha. They were avoiding me. So even my husband would be like, and he was indifferent about whether, because of course he knows that I'm just a jolly good fellow, and that was all. So he was, at one point, was asking me, don't you have party to go to? I was like, I'm married now. What am I looking for outside again, So it was still, it does not mean that now I don't steal. I still do. I still do. And with his permission, I still do. I can even, if it's a very close person, I can stay overnight and, party. And then maybe, we work hard. We that are in the media, we walk around the clock. My brother is laughing at me like, see, excuse with me, but not against me, right? Thank you. So, we walk, no, but jokes apart, we walk around the clock, Monday through Sunday, January, year in, year out. So I'm always looking for how to unwind so that that head will not bust,
Just like us, we can't wait till December.
till December.
And they always till December, because we always find a way to go.
Yes, it's very important. And you see that when you come back, you're more refreshed, you're more open. Yeah, you think, yeah. So,
Wow. Okay.
The, advantages and disadvantages. But I think our generation, we were lucky enough. Do you know now, it's very difficult to send your child, because of the way things are, to send your child to go and buy Maggi there that you forgot to pick from a store. It's very difficult. But then, we used to trek miles. Do you know, whenever I'm going to, do you know that I find it very difficult, and I'm sorry to say, oh no, I'm unapologetic about it. I find it very difficult to give all the secondary school girls and boys lifts. I find it very, very difficult. I see them in my area a lot. I was discussing with a woman, a nurse, that I gave a lift, and she was like, I should help. I said, no, I don't, and I will not. Down. I was not exposed to things like that. In fact, when I was growing up, they'll give us transport to come to my dad's shop. I grew up in Ibadan. My school was in Eleyele. Then my dad's shop is in Dugbe. So it's like, let me say, from here to like barracks, or sometimes extending to like Kugbo. Do you understand? We will trek from like here to Kugbo, even farther. I don't just want to mention a longer route so that it will not look like, you are exaggerating. And then we'll trek. Then you see the children of nowadays, when you have one chance. I lost a former colleague to one chance. He was to get married like 2 months to the time he was killed along that Kubwa expressway. Wow. He was killed and his private organ was, yanked off. And then you are telling me I should carry all these children so that, yes, I have good intention. I'm a mother. I won't hurt them. But what about the next person who can hurt them? Yeah, so the woman, I know she was talking out of, she lived in this village around Asokoro. So maybe her children to also go. And she was talking as a mother, like, sometimes it could be my children that you can say, no, I vow that I will never do that. Because when I see them, everywhere, they should trek.
Of course.
They should trek. It's an experience. I remember when I was in labor for my first son, they told me I should climb upstairs, I should do. I said, see, all the exercise that I needed to do in life, I have done them.
Me too.
But if you ask me to go and fetch water from well now, I will tell you that all the water that I needed to fetch it, if there is a gauge to gauge that, okay, you're supposed to fetch 1 million barrels of water, I have fetched more than enough. Yes, I have fetched more than enough.
Wow. This is a round of applause for Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you. And then my brother said something about runs. There is a difference between runs, runs and enjoyment. Some of us just like life and we still love life. Life is good. Thank you.